Hello, welcome back to Passport to Flavor. It's summertime, so you need something to bring to one of those parties, whether it's graduation or who knows what, just to get together. So today I'm going to show you a special treat that is a little bit unique. We are making a strawberry pretzel jello salad. Yes, all those things go together. This is one of those great treats that is going to shock whoever you're taking it to. They're going to love it and be shocked that it works together and want to make it and ask for the recipe. So to get started, we're going to do the bottom part, which is the crust, which is going to be made from pretzels, some sugar, and some butter. That's it. So I have what's left over of a bag of pretzels, and I'm just going to go ahead and smash these down. It's about a cup is what we're looking for. They don't have to be too small because we still want to know that there are pretzels in there. So we're going to take these pretzels now and add them to 6 tablespoons of melted butter. Next, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, and we're just going to get this all mixed together. So this is going to have that sweet, salty element on the bottom, and as it cooks in the oven, it's going to get nice and crispy and add a little texture to this jello salad as well. So we're just mixing this together until it's combined, and then I have a 9-inch glass circular pan. Any pan works. It doesn't even have to be glass. I just prefer glass so you can see all the layers. So we're just going to pour this in and spread it all over the bottom, and then we are going to place it in a 400-degree oven for about 10 minutes. What we're looking for is that all this melted sugar here is going to kind of solidify and get kind of crusty. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. So I'm going to put this in the oven, 400 degrees for 10 minutes. The next step, the step that takes probably the longest, is the jello. Now, jello is something you need to be patient with. You can't just throw it all together and expect it to work because it's going to end up sinking to the bottom, and I'll show you an example of that later. So I'm going to show you a pro tip to get your jello to cool down faster. Typically when you're using a box of jello, it's asking for a cup of water to come to a boil. Instead of doing the full cup, we're going to cut it in half and add a half cup of water, and then at the end we're going to take some ice cubes and mix it in there to cool it down a lot faster. So this is about 4 ounces of ice cubes. If you have a scale, great. If not, just about a half cup's worth, okay? So I'm going to put this half cup of water into the burner and bring that up to a boil. And then we're going to mix the jello. I'm using strawberry, but if you want to use raspberry, whatever. This is just the traditional flavor that I knew growing up. And we'll mix that together, add the ice cubes, and then we need to let this set for a while. I'll show you why right now while we're waiting. Yesterday, I tried to make a batch of it, and I was being a little impatient. And I poured the jello on when I thought it was set enough, and it came out looking like this, which is not what you want. If you can see, the jello is going all the way down to the bottom, so that crust that we just made is now all soggy, and the mixture has kind of gone over top. If this happens to you, it's because you weren't patient enough. So you just need to let the jello sit, come up to the right temperature, and we'll be all good to go. So let's get this ugly thing out of here real quick. So the other element to this is the cream cheese and whipped cream mixture that's in between, and that's really simple. We have 4 ounces of whipped topping, Cool Whip, whatever you want to use. We're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar, and we are going to add about 4 ounces of cream cheese. We're going to put this in here. Now we're going to take these ingredients and whisk them all together until it's one thick little cream cheese mixture. And this is going to add a lot more sweetness in there, so you have that sweet, that salty, that strawberry, all those flavors. So we're just looking for all those chunks of the cream cheese to get out of here. I should have mentioned, but this cream cheese has been sitting out and softening for a little bit of time, so it should be nice and smooth and ready to go. I've seen some people add bananas into this element too and put that in there. That's fine if you want to. We're just keeping it simple for today. So now we have this, our crust is cooking, and our water is almost boiling. So we are almost all the way there. Waiting for a little bit more bubbles, then we'll take it off the heat. We'll add some of our Jell-O and then the ice cubes. So here we go. I'm gonna add the whole packet of Jell-O. And just mix it until I can see that all that stuff is combined. So yeah, this is what we're looking for here. You don't see any of the powder left. All that we see is like this beautiful red liquid. Now to this, we're gonna add our ice cubes because Jell-O takes a while to set. We're lucky that whoever created Jell-O did it because people used to have to boil calf's feet and make their own Jell-O. We don't have to do that anymore. So we're just gonna cool this down, and we need it to be pretty much set. Like, it shouldn't be liquidy. I say like egg whites, where it's kind of like a little jelly and moves, but not too liquidy. And then we'll pour it on top. So now we just gotta wait a little bit longer for our crust to be ready. We can get that whipped topping on top of it, and then get this Jell-O working. For the meantime, since this Jell-O is cooling down, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the fridge to really speed up that process. We'll be right back. So our timer just went off, and I think the crust is ready. I'll show you exactly what we're looking for. As the sugar has cooked, you can start to see it's bubbling up and creating like this, like, I don't know, like honeycomb almost looking element to it. That is exactly what we're looking for. As this sits, that is going to kind of solidify and make a nice crust. And it'll keep and retain that crunchy texture even with the cream cheese mixture and the Jell-O on top, because those sugars are gonna really act as a barrier to keep those pretzels nice and crunchy, which is what you want in a good pretzel. So we'll just let this cool slightly. We don't need to wait too long. And then we'll go ahead and put this cream topping on top. And then the last step is the Jell-O. We just gotta wait for that to harden enough. We'll scoop that on top, and we're ready to go in the fridge. And then after about 4 hours, we should be ready to eat it. So I'm seeing the bubbles have stopped. It looks like it's all solidified and crunchy now. So we're gonna go ahead and just take this mixture and put it on top. Now, if you're not careful, as you spread this, some of the pretzels will start to pick up. So you wanna be gentle with this because it is still warm. And just dollop it all over the place. And then gently spoon it around so that all the sides are covered. Another important thing we're looking for with that mistake one I showed you earlier is we want to make sure that the edges have been closed off by this whipped cream mixture, because if they're not, that Jell-O can find its way down and make everything all soggy and red. It'll still taste good, don't get me wrong, but it's not what we're looking for, and it's not gonna have the same textures and everything. So I'm just making sure that all the pretzels are tucked in over here. Nothing's gonna come out. The Jell-O is setting, and how you know that is kind of hard to see unless you've been trained a little bit on it, but I'll try to give you a good representation of what we're looking for. Let me just grab a spoon. When we saw it before, it was very liquidy. As it moved, it sloshed back and forth, just like being, you know, like on water or whatever. Now, as it moves, it kind of moves in a group. I don't know. I think the best way to explain it is it kind of looks like egg whites. As I pick it up, like, it doesn't fall off the spoon the same way. It starts to stick onto the spoon a little bit, and that's when we know we're ready. Now, if you want to be like me and make a mistake like I did before, you would just pour this over the top. But that's too much gravity or whatever. It's just going to end up causing it to sink to the bottom more. So it's important to be gentle and just spoon it all over the top. And then just pray as you're walking it back to the fridge that you don't spill it or tilt it enough. It's got to be perfect. So we're just spooning this all over top. You could, if you wanted to, put some frozen or fresh strawberries into this as well. But today, we're just gonna keep it simple. You can see that some parts of the gelatin have already become jello on the bottom. That's good. That means we came at the right time. So now, this needs to go in the fridge. It's still setting, so it's going to be about 4 hours, and then we're ready to eat it. So make sure you have enough time to plan ahead for this. But luckily, I have one already made and ready to go. So I'm going to grab that one now so you can see the end result. With the magic of television, we now have a ready-to-eat strawberry pretzel jello salad. Why salad? My students ask me all the time. I have no idea. It's just a thing back in the day. Any combination of ingredients was called a salad. I agree, not a salad. Definitely not healthy, but still delicious. So let's cut into it so you can see those layers. But here we go. So you might be able to see it better from here. But on the bottom, we got that crispy pretzel crust, a little bit of the cream cheese mixture, and then this jello all on top. When it comes out, we got all those pretty little colors, and let's take a little bite and see how it is. Oh, you can tell that the pretzels are still crispy, so that's a good thing. It's no wonder that when Dolly Parton decided to make an ice cream, this was the first ice cream she made. It's got sweetness, it's got saltiness, it's got crunch, everything you need in a good dessert. So I hope that you try this. As you can see, not too complicated, just needs your patience. So take a day, spend the time, make this, might be therapeutic, and then take it to your next party and wait for everyone to ask you for the recipe. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.